I want the moon on a stick as far as an owner's concerned, and why shouldn't I? I guess I want someone like Roman Abramovich in terms of his money, and also the fact that he's quite omnipotent in that club. He is, what he says goes. And I think that's a really good thing, and something you don't get, I would imagine, by a consortium, by a number of people trying to buy into a club. You often get, I would imagine, death by committee, and it's the enemy of quick decision making as well. As I say, Abramovich is completely omnipotent, so if he makes a decision, it's done. It really is. You have one head honcho. Benevolent dictatorship, I think, would be a way to describe Chelsea. Do you know what? He's got Chelsea's best interests at heart, so by association and by byproduct, he has Chelsea fans' best interests at heart. They do look after fans as well, which is something I'll get onto in just a second. I also like the way Abramovich is detached from everything. I think he supports the club. He supports them financially. I think he, I don't know how many games he goes to now, but he's seen to be supporting the club. But you never hear from him. I don't think I've ever heard Roman Abramovich speak. So he's detached enough. But I sort of like that. Look, you can make up your own mind whether you think chopping and changing managers is a good or a bad thing. For Chelsea, it works. I think it works because whatever new manager comes in, the squad has such good players that you can generally get a tune out of them. Tuchel comes in, he wins the Champions League. Rafa Benitez comes in just for 6 months, he wins the UEFA Cup or whatever it was. Then it's managers get parachuted in, and they've got a lot of very, very good players to mould into a team and to win football matches. So that's good. I also, like the fact that you'd get a nice transfer kitty. So whatever prospective owners we get, I do want that. And I don't want us to buy a load of Galacticos and spend £1 billion or something. I think you'd almost lose your identity as West Ham. But the ability to have 100 million, 150 million to invest in a team, and the money to keep your current players happy. To keep someone like Declan Rice. Not just the money to do it, but actually have the financial clout that when other clubs come in and say, no, we're not taking your money, he's not for sale, by the way, I've got more money than you, so it doesn't matter. I guess that's sort of a situation that really, I think, only Sheikh Mansour at Man City and Abramovich probably enjoy. Man United are saddled with so much tech, it wouldn't matter anyway. If somebody came in with a big enough chunk of money for one of their best players, they would accept it, and it wouldn't matter what Solskjaer said. That I want from ownership. I also would like them to look at the West Ham identity. So I think anybody coming in would be under no illusion about the problems that the fans have had with the ownership. The one for me would be the stadium. Sort the stadium out. Now, for me, it would be a case of move the seats close to the pitch. You'd have a couple of things you'd have to do. You have to buy the stadium. I honestly, I think the government would sell it. It's costing them £30 million a year, and it's costing the London budget £30 million a year in 20 to 30, something like that, each year, just to subsidise it, for it to be there. That you offer them money, they'd sell it. They really would. The other thing you've got to do is sort out UK athletics, and which is only the right thing to do. They paid into that place before we did. They're actually owed money first, but it's not working out. They need a home. They deserve a home. So whoever was going to come in would have to be wealthy enough to sort out Crystal Palace and talk about Athletic Stadium here, or whatever, Gateshead or whatever, Sheffield, whatever the case may be. But at Birmingham, make the National Athletic Centre at Birmingham or something like that. Move the seat closer to the pitch. Does it need to be 60,000? No. 55,000, right close to the pitch, and I think it'd make that a pretty impressive arena. They'd have to have the money to do that. As I say, it's moon on a stick. This is what I want from ownership, by the way. Deal with the identity of the club. I'm not talking about the castle on the badge. Yeah, I've got many old kits that have just got cross hammers on them. It's fine that the castle was something that was synonymous with the bowling ground, Upton Park. That's fine. We're not there anymore. But as I say, I've got old kits that don't have the castle anyway. As far as I'm concerned, the cross hammers is our sign. We do that. We don't do a little thing with a castle as well. I don't know how would you do a turret? I don't know. That's fine. But they would come in if they had anything about it and say, we're going to remove that London from the badge. We will we will invite fans to give their say, and you know what? I just think things would be done an awful lot better. Street vendors and the food, the catering, just everything. I do things very, very differently. If you've ever been to Brighton on the away game, you'll see what I mean. They have a local craft beer company, a local company do the pies. You could just do things a lot better. Basically, that stadium screams Brighton. I'm not sure at the moment when you go for the match day experience that stadium screams East London. So yeah, there are things to be done. So the reason I'm talking about this, and I've already done a video today, and yeah, I know that, but we've got a match later on. I'll be talking about that match tomorrow, and then there's other things going on. So, and this old news might be old by then. A consortium apparently have come in to buy West Ham, and they've bid 400 million. Now, it's headed by a guy called Philip Beard, who previously had fronted Tony Fernandez's purchase of Queen's Park Rangers. Now, if I get into this too much, it'll become very, very dull and very boring. But basically, the long and short of it is Philip Beard doesn't have the money to buy West Ham. I don't like consortiums. I don't like, well, I guess they, in football, in terms of buying my football club, I don't like consortiums. I really don't. I did a video, I don't know, maybe it's a year and a half. It's certainly before COVID, probably was. And it was about a takeover of Newcastle. Newcastle fans got really riled up for it. They said, do your research, you don't know what you're talking about. The funny thing was, I had done my research before doing the video. And my first thing was I read an article in a paper called the South Shields Gazette. And the article was entitled something like the 8 failed bids to buy Newcastle United under Mike Ashley. Amanda Staveley had actually fronted 3 of these bids. Now, Amanda Staveley, you might see her in the news at the moment. She's pontificating and going mad about why the Premier League won't sanction this deal. This is her 3rd failed attempt, and she's brought 3 different sets of people to the table to try and buy Newcastle United. Why? Well, because Amanda Staveley can't afford to buy Newcastle United. I think if I was Mike Ashley and I saw Amanda Staveley coming in, now don't get me wrong, this is just what I've read, all right? Is this the truth? I don't know, but why would the South Shields Gazette lie? If you remember, there was one of them, and they called him the fake sheikh, didn't they? He didn't have any money at all, but Amanda Staveley had brought him to the bargaining table and said this guy wants to take over Newcastle United. He couldn't provide proof of funds. I think if it was me and I saw Amanda Staveley coming now, and I was owner of Newcastle United, I think, no, not you again, please. What I want is the person to rock up and show me the money, as the saying goes. Because how hard can it be? So apparently, this guy Philip Beard and his consortium have, and the reason I say about Tony Fernandez, don't get me started on Tony Fernandez. Actually, I'm going to digress. I'm going to go back and take you to the time when Golden Sullivan bought West Ham. Tony Fernandez was trying to buy West Ham at that time. Also, there was a consortium. I think they were called the Interstellar Group. At this point, there had been an Icelandic financial collapse. Can't pretend to know the details of it, but there was a financial collapse. The financial Icelandic markets were in a bit of a pickle. Let's put it that way. I think some of the lenders had taken control of West Ham from Magnusson. Well, Magnusson wasn't even the owner, was he? You know what? It was a mess. People had the West Ham stock. They were desperate to sell. They didn't need it, and they were looking to try and cash in on any assets they had. So up rock, Golden Sullivan, Tony Fernandez, and the Interstellar Group. Golden Sullivan won, and here's what they won with. They said, we'll give you 50 million for half the club. There's no way that those Icelandic creditors wanted to only sell half the club. There's no way. What they would have wanted was someone to come along and go, we'll buy all the club. But the fact that they accepted Golden Sullivan's deal probably says an awful lot about Tony Fernandez's bid. And look at QPR now, by the way. And I like QPR. Brother supports QPR. I've got a lot of love for that club, right? Look at QPR now. And it also says an awful lot for the Interstellar Group, which was a consortium. The fact that when the bids went in, that this group of Icelandic creditors looked at it and thought, actually, the Golden Sullivan one's the best offer. will we still, we'll retain half the club, but they, and they had the option to buy it back, and I think they did. I think after a short while, possibly Sullivan and Gold bought another 25%, and then I think they more or less, there's some minor shareholders, Terence Brown and Trip Smith. By and large, Gold and Sullivan own the club. The funny thing is, these are businessmen. Gold and Sullivan are businessmen. When they were making this bid, they would have known. They must have known quite how poor the Tony Fernandez bid was, and quite how poor the Interstellar bid was. Otherwise, they wouldn't have bid so low. They must have been confident. They must have thought, actually, we're going to bid low. We're going to bid 50 million for half of the club, and we're still going to get it, because these other two, the deals just aren't good, which shows you how poor it must have been. So when a consortium rocks up at West Ham and says they want to buy the club for 400 million, well, first of all, you're not going to get it for 400 million. Don't get me wrong, when I've heard Brady say before, or Sullivan, whoever said it, we want 800 million for the club, I laugh, but you ain't going to get it. You ain't going to get, the club's not, you're just not. We don't own our own stadium. You ain't going to get 800 million for it. But I'm also sure when Philip Beard and a consortium rock up offering 400 million, probably in staggered payments, I know you ain't going to get it, okay? And then they can't provide proof of funds. So how hard can that be? Because that happened in the Newcastle one as well, for all of, and this is the recent one. So I think it was something like the Saudi investment fund. You have to excuse me, I'm a bit vague on this because I'm not a financial man at all. But Saudi Arabia, this is fronted by, was it Al Samam? I think it was Prince Al Samam, something like that. Is he not worth billions? A Saudi royal family not worth billions? Why couldn't they prove that they had 300 million? Now, I'm sure they could, but why does it take so long? Because it's a really, really small percentage of what you've got, isn't it? 300 million, if you've got hundreds of billions or tens of billions, whatever it is, 300 million is not a lot. You know, if I want to go and buy something and someone says to me, oh, by the way, that's 20 quid. Can you prove you got 20 quid? You say, well, I've got 20 quid. But if you want me to prove it, hold on, let me open up my app. There you go, it's there, it's in my bank. Why is it so hard for people to provide proof of funds? I suggest there's only one answer, because they ain't got it. And you're going to get this with a consortium as well, by the way. Proof of funds? Oh, hold on. Well, actually, let me get all the lads together. Okay. Oh, have you got that? Okay. Have you got that 30 mil? Yeah. Okay. Have you got that 20 mil? Yeah. Have you got that 100 mil? And everyone goes around. No. Because actually, these people can't come in and do what we want to the club. And you hear this thing, and it says they will provide David Moyes with a hefty war chest, meaning they can even loads of money to sign players. Really? You can't even prove that you've got the money to buy the club. So how are you going to? How are you going to prove that you've got an extra 200-300 million on top to finance a complete rebuild of the team? I would suggest if they were going to do it, then that would be leverage against the club. It'd actually be more borrowed money. That's the last thing we want. I don't want someone to come in and put us more in debt. As I've said before, I said it all the time. When these takeovers happen, and the good ones happen, they happen quick and they happen without any notice. And that's how it should be done. Because people like Abramovich, people like Sheikh Mansour don't see the need to make these things public. They just don't. They're so rich, they just go bang, there's your money. Proof of funds. Don't worry about proof of funds. Give me the bank transfer details and I'll transfer the money over now. Let's sign the documents. We'll do a due diligence in private and the deal is done. And you know those people then say, right, that's why I often use the example. Man City had an owner called Frank Sinatra, to many. Mark Hughes was the manager. I'd never forget that picture. It was on transfer deadline day, and he didn't even know anything was happening. Mark Hughes was shopping in a bargain basement. At this point, he's looking around for players of 4 or 5 million. All of a sudden, there he is with Robinho. Looking, his arm around. Mark Hughes with his arm around Robinho, by the way. Looking completely and utterly shocked. Even Mark Hughes, the manager, didn't know it was coming until the day before. So this is how takeovers happen. This is how genuinely wealthy people act. And I can only surmise that whoever's trying to take over West Ham, maybe they smell blood. Maybe they look at Gold and Sullivan's financial situation. Maybe they look at their desire to retain the club. Maybe they look at the fact that it's an opportunity because of COVID. Maybe they see a wounded animal in West Ham and think we're gonna buy that. But I look at it, and when I look at it, I think, much as I would love a new owner in the guise of what I described at the start of this video, much like me and me Porsche, they just can't afford West Ham.